It's the book of Alpha running, man, homie. Read it or weep.
There's a lot of talk about a woman retaining honor, a woman retaining virtue, a woman retaining the covenant of her God, a woman being in the position she's supposed to be in. We don't find those women around here. We don't be around those women. We don't come into contact with those women. Those women aren't available to us. We never see them. I mean, we never see them. When the last time you met a woman, man, that fit these descriptions? And the thing is, if a woman doesn't fit these descriptions, then she's not a woman that's worthy of being in your presence. Verse 22, a jewel of gold and a swine's snout. So is a fair woman which is without discretion. I just talked about that today. Judging a woman by content of character. If a woman has no content of character, her beauty is vain. Beauty is already vain, but her beauty is extra vain. Her beauty is worthless. If she has a terrible attitude, she brings terrible energy to your life. All of her energy is always negative. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is. It's like a jewel of gold in a pig snout. And what that means, and you may say, well, that ain't too bad. You just pull it out. We're not even supposed to touch the pig. All those defiled meats, we're not even supposed to touch them. We're not supposed to touch them. We're not supposed to touch their dead carcass. We're not even supposed to touch them. We're not supposed to do anything with them. So if you see a jewel of gold and swine snout, as a man of God, you can't even pull it out. You can't touch the swine. Now tell me how many men you think would be like, man, I'm finna touch that pig, get that gold out. I wouldn't. You got the gold and you got your soul. Which one you gonna protect? Which one you gonna protect? And I think that's a big one. That's a big one, man. Listen, the world would be a better place. Men would be in a better position as far as relationships go, and women wouldn't be so powerful in relationships if men would judge women by the content of their character, especially now. If beautiful women who have bad attitudes started getting shunned by men because they have bad attitudes, they'd fix it. They'd fix it because it got so bad that we allowed those women to still get the benefits of their beauty, even though they have terrible attitudes. And now the women who don't have quite that same amount of beauty, they have terrible attitudes because men have just grown over years, have just grown to pursue women and treat women like the prize, and it trickle down to the women who don't even look that good. Now a 5 is acting like she's a 9. Let's go to chapter 12, verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh a shame is as rottenness in his bones. We're gonna come back and visit this later on. Couple of lines down, we're gonna visit this later on. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh a shame is as rottenness in his bones. Can anybody say Jada Pinkett Smith? She is as rottenness in that man's bones. She is rottenness in that man's bones. That's exactly what she is. And that's another big one, man. If your woman isn't virtuous, she does. And men be told, you're not gonna find a virtuous woman. Okay, well, no man should be getting married. They act like the world gonna end. Well, you ain't gonna find a virtuous. Their mindset is, if you can't find a virtuous woman, you just gotta settle for what you can get. Man, you crazy. That's like having a degree, man, selling for a job at McDonald's. You got 2 degrees, you selling for a job at McDonald's. Man, you better take that time you working at McDonald's to go try to find some work. Try to figure out a way to monetize what you know. You can't do that. You trying to make sure you can get 40 hours at McDonald's. And I ain't knocking McDonald's if you in college. Or high school, not even college. If you're in high school, I ain't knocking McDonald's if you're in high school, man. It's a job. It beats being in the street, man, trying to hustle and getting jammed up, ruining your life. Let's go to chapter 18, verse 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. Now I know what that sound like. That sound like, man, you got to go ahead, man, and you got to go ahead and, find a wife. Now, let me tell y'all something. Let's go back to chapter 12, verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. A wife is a virtuous woman. If a woman is not virtuous, she is not a wife. You have found some scallywag and married a scallywag. That's what you did. Let me tell y'all something about a virtuous woman. A virtuous woman is so in tune with her spiritual essence that she don't even want to damage her relationships by going and having a legal marriage. She don't want to have that. She don't want to invite that evil. She don't want to invite that covenant into her relationship with you. She understands because she's virtuous. A virtuous woman is the only woman that God will connect with. He will not connect with the average woman out here. He absolutely will not. So these women don't understand what's going on. If she's not a virtuous woman, you didn't find a wife. You just married some broad. Which is weirdo. That's pretty weird to me. You understand? If your woman ain't virtuous, bro, you know if she ain't virtuous. You know if she ain't virtuous. And let me tell you something. You can't meet a woman and make her virtuous. She might play the role. A virtue is not a role that a woman plays. It's the type of woman that she is. Men don't know this because it's rare to find one. It's rare to come across a virtuous woman, especially in this particular society. You just can't do it. You're not going to come across a virtuous woman in this society, bro. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but none of us are. None of us are. And that's real talk, man. So when you think about verse 22, see, somebody, a Christian pastor will pour that out. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Man, all the women in the church be like, yeah, I'm a good thing. Just ain't no man good enough to find me. Okay, keep telling yourself that. And then when you get 40, tell yourself that. And then when you get 50, tell yourself that. And then when you 60 and you got a bunch of cats in the house with you, tell yourself that. Because that's what you're going to be looking at. If you had a virtuous woman, you'd be less likely to look at other women because they wouldn't be able to compete with her. When you think about what a virtuous woman is, that's why when I tell guys, man, hey, man, I believe a woman can be with me, man, and not cut nobody. Because when she compare me to other guys, she ain't going to come across nobody that's live as me. She don't come across nobody that's real as me. She don't come across nobody that's connected in more ways than I am. She don't come across nobody, man, who's as connected with God as he is with the streets. Who's as connected with men as he is with God. She's not going to find anybody who brings what I bring to her life. And I'm not even talking about finances. She says not going to find that. And so if a woman is with me and she's really with me and I let her in like that, man, she ain't going to be dipping out with nobody else, man. She just ain't going to do it. And it's the same situation, man, with a virtuous woman. If you had a virtuous woman, man, you less likely because a virtuous woman touches a man's soul. You feel a virtuous woman in your spirit. It ain't just physical. You know, that woman entices you and enhances you in ways, man, that a woman can't, man, if God don't bless her. And God don't bless any woman who's not a virtuous woman. There ain't a woman on the planet who get no blessing from God and she's not virtuous. She can tell herself she does, but see, blessings ain't something you got to work your ass off for. You know what I'm saying? If you go to school for 6 years and get a degree, you ain't blessed. You worked and earned it. You did everything they said do. You earned that. So let's get back into this thing, man. Let's go chapter 19, verse 14. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. If your wife isn't prudent, which is along the lines of virtuous and reasonable, if your wife isn't, again, virtuous, prudent, reasonable, she's a curse. She's not from God. It says right here, a prudent wife is from the Lord. If your wife is not prudent, she's not from the Lord. You have gone and taken a woman who's not even meant for you. The divorce rate is not high because women divorce so much. The divorce rate is so high because the marriages don't have a chance to work in the first place for a multitude of reasons. And this is one. Guys are picking these women for every reason except the content of their character. Who is this woman? What has she been through? What has she done? Who does she owe? What does she owe him for? How much dirt has she done to people? How evil do people think she are? How many people from her past actually hurt her guts? Who is this woman? What is she about? What does she know about herself spiritually? Is she a mental wreck? Is she in the midst of emotional turmoil in her life? Guys don't care. They just see a big butt and a smile. Never trust a big butt and a smile. Never trust a big butt and a smile, man. I want y'all to think about this. It's driving me out of my mind. It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. That girl is poison. I want y'all to think about how relevant that is to what we're discussing tonight. Can't get it out of my mind. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her. Run, move, you're dead. We just talked about her house being the steps to hell, her steps being the steps to death. We just talked about that. If she's not a virtuous woman, she's poison. She's toxic to your life. Things will happen in your life that you can't recover from. And that's real talk, homies. That's real talk. Let's go to chapter 21, man. Let's go to chapter 21. Chapter 21, verse 9 and 19. Verse 9. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Shut up in this. We're talking about shut up in this. We're talking about that loud, clamorous woman. We're talking about all of that. Anytime you have turmoil with a woman, it is better to be homeless than to be in the house with that woman. That's why I tell guys all the time, I don't care if you got to go live with your mom and them. I don't care if you got to live in your car. I don't care if you got to live in the car and take a bath at the gym every day. It don't matter. It's better to live in your car than with a woman who keeps up nothing but turmoil in your life. A woman who challenges you. A woman who questions everything you tell her. It's better to live in your car than live in a woman's house. In her house. It's better to live in your car. Listen to the words your and her. It's better to live in your car than to live in her house. I say again, it's better to live in your car than to live in her house. Your car has more peace of mind for you than her house. It's a travesty, man, that the disconnect that we have from the truth of the word of God, man, because nobody knows it. Nobody wants to perpetuate it because they don't know it. It's not even that they don't want to. They just don't know it. They feel like it's not real, even though all of these things are the same things that guys are teaching now, but it's based on their terrible experiences with women. Why go through that? Don't young guys understand that it would be better to just follow these words than to have to go out there and learn because some guy's telling you go chase women?